Beautiful.
Oh,
Very
Here
good.
we
aloha.
are.
Aloha.
Aloha. Here we are on
That's right.
Sunday, July 10th, 2022, for Witness to History. This is our way, one of our many ways that the Moreland Network comes together to get to know our neighbors better. So, as many of you know, we have been doing Witness to History. I'm Donna Whyte. I always forget to say who I am. You all know who I am. As you all know, we have been doing Witness to History since August of 2020. And I'm not even going to say how many we've done, John, because I've lost count. You're pretty good about that. But, I just take a minute to, thank a few folks. And I want to say to everybody this evening that our guest is Theodore Darden III, better known to many people as Ted Darden.
Theodore.
Theodore, oh yes, I'm sorry. Theo is your son. Theodore Darden III. And as you know, in that error that I just made, Theo is your son. Okay, yes, you're Theodore Darden III. And so we had a wonderful conversation, but before we get started, I would just like to say and offer my condolences to a few people in the Moreland community who have lost loved ones. Mr. Hilton Fuller passed away. He was a Shelton Road resident, passed away, and his memorial was yesterday, as well as Alfonso Brown, who many people knew as Fonzo. And he was a familiar face in our neighborhood, and the community came together and remembered him yesterday with a block party at Shelton Park that was very well attended. People donated a lot of food, and there was music and fun, and folks really gathered together and enjoyed and celebrated his life and appreciated the fact that he offered so much to the community. Both he and Mr. Fuller offered so much to the community. I would like to also thank a few people. I would like to thank Megan Hayes, who's with us today with the library, and she will be able to post in the chat the website. Megan's with the library. She posts our Witness to History interviews on the library site, and so you can see them wherever. They're also on a YouTube channel. John can tell us more about that. Thank you, John, for always being with us every month and making Witness to History easy for me. And also, thank you so much, Kevin, for your commitment to just being with us and the conversation we had in 2020 about what do we do now. And Witness to History was born from a conversation that Kevin and I had. Thank you all for being here. So again, good evening, Theodore Darden III, and I'll call you Ted. How are you this evening?
Well, I'm fine. I'm all right.
We're going to have a really fun conversation. First of all, we don't usually hear music in the background of Witness to History. And I just want to ask you, Ed, what is the music in the background? Let's just start off there.
The music is me playing my saxophone in one of the bands that I play in.
Yes.
A band called #Virgo, in which I play. Everyone in the band are Virgos, and so we came together to put some music together, which we have all similar ideas and concepts about. And it's been working out all right. We started just before the pandemic.
Okay, just before the pandemic.
And stayed together, this gave us a common interest, and we can play our music. And we had a venue, Kings and Queens African Cultural Village is what it's called, Kings and Queens Cultural Village on Larchmere, in which we perform there once a month, from the store. And wintertime, summertime, it's some place where we can get together enjoy ourselves.
That's wonderful. So I had told you, I said, so what I knew of
And
you.
I also play with. I also say that I play with another band, a Latin salsa band from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
We play salsa around the west side of Cleveland, around any place they want us, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Okay.
And
you know, okay.
right now I'm playing with a guy named Eugene Ross and Company, which we do a variety of weddings, parties, birthday parties. We did a birthday party last night for this guy Dr. Howard Tucker. He turned 100 years old, and his family gave him a very, very beautiful setting. We were in a large barn in Hudson, Ohio, and it was outstanding. Yeah.
I'm sure it was beautiful. Beautiful. You had a beautiful night. And, you know, so everybody, if you need a band, we know who to get in touch with.
Yeah.
We know who to get in touch with.
Hit me up, as they say.
Yes. And, you know, I shared with you, I said, well, you know, when I would bring up your name and we were preparing for this, I said, well, what I knew about you is that you're a musician. That's what people say. You know, you play the sax. And then we had a conversation. And I was like, okay, that's just one of the many things that you do. But let's go back, and we're going to learn a lot about, you know, your life and your story and your connection, your long-lasting commitment to Shaker Heights. But take us back in your life to your introduction to Shaker, or your family. You told me a lot about your grandparents and where you grew up. So let's start there.
Well, I grew up, that's my grandmother there, my grandmother holding me, you know, down on 40th and 40th between Woodland and Scowood. It was called Scowood at the time before they changed it to Quincy. And if you can see that house in the background past the ivy, that was old 40th row houses that would sit up there, you know. And this is the other picture is my graduation picture from East Tech, you know.
East Tech.
So growing up on 55th and Houseway, you know, my schools were right there in the triangle. You know, I went to Houseway Elementary School. From there, I went to Kennard, which was right down the block. And then from there, I went to East Tech High School. And as a matter of fact, I started playing my saxophone at Kennard Junior High School. I fell in love with the saxophone and music in general because my mother would sit me in front of the radio. We had one of those large radios. I can't think of it. Zenith, a large Zenith, in fact, with a record player that pulled out from the center. She would sit me down in front of that, and she would play classical music, you know, and that was my first introduction to music. As far as, you know, I think I was 4 years old, and I was repeating the music to course Scheherazade, you know, I would listen to that continuously. That's how, you know, and I happened to wind up developing a good memory for music, you know, somewhat of a total recall sometimes. And you know, from there, you know, my grandparents, you know, around 1954, my grandparents moved out on 145th between Melverton and Spear.
Okay.
Which was to me, you know, a very big highlight in my career. I mean, in my youth, because it gave me an opportunity to do what I saw on television. Speaking of television, my family acquired a television when I was very young. You know, used to watch Tom Terrific, and I say that to say that, you know, the things on television that I saw was nothing like the life that I was leading. But, you know, for me, you know, it was something that I was able to aspire to, in essence, you know. The only thing I couldn't do was change the color of my skin so that I, but so that I
all
could
we were exposed to.
Right.
That was literally all that we were exposed to. We're in the same generation, same years, pretty much. So what we had on TV was limited. Certainly, there was no diversity.
So anyway.
But that says a lot about Cleveland schools too, because they had good music programs.
Oh yeah, Cleveland Public Schools had one of the best music programs around, you know, at the time. And one of my aspirations at that time was to get in the city orchestra, you know, because all the high schools had orchestras, and then there was the main orchestra down in the city downtown that would play continuously, the city orchestra, and I was never ever that good to get into that, but you know, it still gave me hope, you know. I'm still hoping to get into somebody's big orchestra like that.
It's still time.
But anyhow,
I'm sure a lot of people would not necessarily agree with that, you know. I mean, there's still one of the things that you shared with me about visiting your grandparents, you know, and some of the exposure, you know, that you had, not only to Shaker, but some of the things that you did when you were at your grandparents' house. When you said 145th, you know, I always thought about how 145th was one of the few streets off Kinsman that only ran between Kinsman and Milverton. I grew up on 148. So, and it was a whole different kind of world. You know, if you grew up closer to Milverton, you were certainly familiar, you know, with Shaker. Much more, you know, than we would if we were closer to Bartlett, you know, depending on where we lived. There were some things you said.
That's how, that was one of my first encounters with Shaker Heights. You know, living on 145th, and I spent majority of my time on 145th in my youth. You know, I was able to cut grass and shovel lawns. I mean, shovel driveways. You know, and at the time, driveways were all gravel when I was a kid. So, you know, it was a very, very, very good experience. You know, I had an opportunity to meet my great grandfather. This is my grandmother's father. His name was Edward Watlington, and he taught me a lot about gardening and yard work, repair, that type of stuff. You know, that time there were no gas-powered lawnmowers, so you know everything was mechanically situated. So you know we had the push mower.
Anybody remember the push mowers?
Oh yeah. The best thing going, I tell you.
That took a little bit of effort.
But anyway, living there, I mean, spending a lot of time there, you know, in the wintertime, we'd take a short walk up to Milverton to 146th and cross over into Shaker Heights then. Well, first of all, the Shaker Heights sign used to be on Milverton, you know, just before 146, you know, and then as we grew older, the sign moved to where it is now at 146 between the Lomond, I think it is, or Ludlow or something, whatever the street is. I never could get it in. Anyway, I would spend a lot of time. We'd go there in the wintertime. You know, there was a pond that developed and would freeze over.
Yes.
And we'd go and ride our sleds over on it. You know, go flopping with the sleds on it. You know, learn things like ice skating and you know,
absolutely,
playing hockey and you know that type of thing. And it was, you know, something that was not happening down on 55th and Offway, you know. And, you know, seeing those, living around those people who were homeowners, what it boiled down to, versus, you know, it inspired me to look up to and to become aspirational about Shaker, you know,
Right.
inspired to
So
come live in Shaker.
So what did you do after high school? Right after high school.
Oh, I tell you what, my dad was in the Navy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My dad passed in 1954, March. That's odd because my daughter also passed in in March. But anyway, I went straight to the Navy. You know, I thought I would have a choice to go. I wanted to go down to. Oh, stuck. I'm sorry. I wanted to go down to Louisiana, marching band down at LSU.
Okay.
You know, because I loved marching band when I was in high school. But I wanted to aspire to be, you know, following my father's footsteps, which was, you know, he was a gunner's mate in the Navy, you know, and
World War II.
very accomplished. Yeah, World War II, right? Very accomplished, and for me, there was no other place to go except for the U.S. Navy.
Yes, I see
graduation
you here.
from high school.
I see you here in your uniform. Tell us who's in these pictures.
Oh, okay. That's me and my uniform. My mother, the preacher, and my first wife, Connie, in the picture. The lower right hand corner. That's my mother, my aunt on the left hand side, my grandmother seated, and my uncle Frank. He's you know, he was the one that literally raised me after my father died. You know? And the picture on the right is myself, my mother, my brother, and my two daughters. You know?
Nice.
I think this may have been during a holiday, and this was I see this was taken at my mother-in-law's house. So.
Oh, okay, nice. So you went to the Navy and you came out of the Navy, and actually you said your induction date. Tell us what date you were inducted into the Navy.
Oh,
this is a date that, you know, that we'll all remember.
September 11th, 1964.
1964. So you had just graduated from high school. You went right into the military. All right, so, you know, let's fast forward a little bit. You were in the Navy, served in the Navy, and then you came back to Cleveland. And then you decided, you know, along the way, and, you know, your work life, we'll talk about that, but you decided you were going to move into Shaker. You know, the influence of what you had seen earlier, you decided that you were going to move into Shaker as well.
Well, you know, as I was living on 119th, after I come out of the military, I moved in with my brother on 119th. My mother and my brother, as a matter of fact. You know, myself, one child, and my wife, and we were pretty cramped in there.
Okay.
But it came to be about 1977. They were talking about busing the children to the west side, you know, and my kids were in Lafayette at the time.
Lafayette Elementary.
Right. Lafayette Elementary, and so I didn't want that, you know. I felt there was a better way for them to get a better education. I've always been envious of the education that my friends that I knew from Shaker had received in Shaker, and so it was a moot point for me to move no place but to Shaker, you know. Because I thought at the time, and it was true at the time, my kids would be able to get a superior education and be able to aspire to do different things, better things, you know, with their life.
It's certainly what drew me to Shaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my
parents. You know. Yeah, and you know, moving into the Moreland community was a real nice thing for me. and my wife, my first wife. We lived there, and I worked several jobs, and were able to. Oh, this is my second wife. This is my wife, my second wife.
So when you moved into Moreland, you moved on Menlo. Is that where you live?
And the other picture said, yeah, I was able to buy a home from the Browders, and very, very, it was a fixer-upper.
They all are at some point.
Right. And, it allowed me to, it helped me to get my chops in in doing construction and that type of thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I had my own property, and that was, I had my own piece of the pie that I could form and do what I wanted to do. And,
Did you tell me you still own the house on Menlo?
Yeah, I still own the house. Yeah,
still own the house.
That's where I put my first garden up, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Well, let's go to, so your first wife and your daughters are, with your first wife, yes. And so these are pictures.
Yeah, these are pictures. This is my wife, first wife, Connie. The one on the left, first wife, Connie, my daughter, Tamara, myself, and this is the last picture of my daughter, Tamiko, that we took. She transitioned 2 weeks after this picture was taken.
I understand.
Yeah. And this is my daughter, Tamiko, with her daughter, Brianna, and Connie, my wife, and Connie's mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have, and I kind of teased you because you have your family with daughters and granddaughters.
Oh yeah.
And they're still.
Well, we decided to work with that, but that comes later.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that. We don't necessarily have to, but they're still. And also just to share the condolences and loss of the.
Right. I understand.
So go back to the picture, John, of the wedding picture. Okay, so here we're in, you met your second wife, Cheryl, right? Tell us about your wife, Cheryl Lincoln, and her family.
And my daughters on the other side, Tamiko and Tamara and myself. And by this time, I've already had a plan in session. Okay. Because like you said, all I had was daughters. I got kind of tired of living in a house full of women. So Cheryl and I, we came up with a plan. At least I came up with a plan, and she was more than helpful in helping to implement this plan. I wanted to have a son, and we spoke together about it. At the time I was taking a class at Tri-C, and in psychology, one-on-one psychology class is they show you the human reproductive system. And so reading through the book, I learned how women reproduce. When the egg is at the top of the fallopian tube, it allows, that would be a 90% chance to produce a male if you conceive at that time.
So long story short,
long story short, she said, I'm ovulating, and I said, okay, well, let's get at it.
Boy, how?
And it was a correct decision. And next thing I know, we were having a son.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
That's my son Theo. He, you know,
Theodore Darden IV.
that's Theodore Roosevelt Darden IV.
Okay, yeah, yes. And your family, and you also shared with me that your daughter's initials are also.
Oh yes.
Yes.
As a child, when my father passed, his initials was TRD. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so with that, we put when asphalt tile came down to put it, you know, in our apartment, we put asphalt tile down on the floor and put the initials TRD.
Oh.
And come to find out,
Oh, I can't finish that story. I didn't hear that one. Uh-oh. You froze there for a minute.
find out that it was just taken up. This was 1958. Anyway, we wound up having to cut. They wound up having to cut out our initials. But as I was saying, the initials TRD, our initials TRD. Mm-hmm. My family, everyone in my family is named TRD. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My daughter, Tamiko, Tamara, Tamiko Renee, Tamara Rochelle, Theodore Roosevelt, of course. You know.
All right.
My cousin named all his kids TRD.
Oh, okay.
This is my cousin Gary Darden, who lived on 145th with his grandmother.
Okay.
This is my first cousin from my father's sister, Jacqueline. And anyway, TRD is pretty prominent in my family.
All right. And these beautiful pictures of your daughters and your family. And Theo's a baby.
Right. That's when Teddy was about 1 or something.
I like his sailor suit.
Oh yeah, well, you know. that was something being imposed upon him.
Yes, right. Let's try to influence him. Well, I don't know. Did it work? I don't know. He didn't tell me he was in the Navy.
Oh no.
Well, I understand also that while you were here and lived in Moreland, you all were involved with the Moreland Community Association. And
he's done better than that.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your involvement with the Moreland Community Association. You mentioned to me that you and your wife Cheryl were involved with the Moreland Community Association.
Yeah, we were invited to. They came about and talked about it. I think Mr. Foster. I'm not sure whether he was one of the founding members there also, but we wound up becoming founding members. My wife was the secretary and I was the vice president. You know? Mm-hmm. And we did it because, you know, we wanted to have a say in what was going on as far as Moreland's concerned. You know? A lot of the issues. Cheryl was the big thing in that. For me, you know, it was something to do. You know, I was into another world at the time.
Okay.
You know, but I was still connected. You know. But anyway, the Moreland Community Association. We had our first meeting over near Franklin Ice Cream.
Yeah.
The building where Franklin's Ice Cream was.
Who remember Franklin Ice Cream? Some of you here I know remember Franklin Ice Cream. Now we have Nicholas.
And Goodman's corned beef.
On 153rd and Pensman.
Right.
Right there in the neighborhood. All right, well, let's shift gears a little bit here and talk about your work life, which is also, you know, you have quite an illustrious career.
Oh.
And in all that you were able to learn when you were in the Navy and continue to contribute once you started working. Did I freeze?
Well, when I joined the Navy, I joined to become reactor operator or a submarine, and went to school. For my first 3 years. I went to school in different areas throughout the United States, and wound up in Idaho Falls, Idaho, where I was studying at the National Reactor Testing Station there, and learned that and chemistry and wind up being a water chemist as my forte. That's my forte, water chemistry. And after I got on Navy, I started going into research and development. And from there, I went to different jobs. Wound up at a job called Eco Labs, which was a subsidy of Polytech engineering consulting firm.
Yeah.
And which we did a lot of work in sewer systems and underground work.
Okay. Now, some people may know Polytech. Norman Bliss is one of the founders, and that company is a Black-owned company that was around for a long time.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. You also mentioned, and this was really funny because you said that you had an association with University of California, Irvine.
Oh yeah.
And I said, what? I worked there.
Well,
and I was like, how did you do that? You weren't there. Okay.
From working Eco Labs and Polytech, I was looking in the Plain Dealer, and I found the newspaper, and I found an ad for a job as a water chemist, and I applied, and subsequently I was interviewed by a Dr. Bratton at Cleveland State. And what it boiled down to is that it was the University of California hiring for a project, a high energy physics project out here at Morton Salt, in which we would spent 2,000 feet underground. I think I did that for 10 years. I had to become a miner in order to go into the shafts and do our operation. And what it boiled down to is that the project was called proton decay. It was the Irvine, Brookhaven, and Brookhaven Institute and the University of Michigan collaboration to study if protons in fact did decay. Well, if you know anything about chemistry, protons don't decay. Protons have a half-life of approximately 10 to the 53rd years, which is a very long time. But in order for us to evaluate that type of concept, we had to put protons in an area in which we could measure it. Well, the water molecule is equivalent to a proton, H2O. And if we wanted to see a decay, a good way to do it is to see if water would decay in essence, But we had to put a large amount of water together, so we put 200 million gallons. 200 million gallons of water in a vessel a detector in the bottom of Morton Salt, 2,000 feet underground. That way we wouldn't have any cosmic radiation disturbing our system to see if this would happen, this phenomenon would happen. And it was the whole setup was aligned with photoelectric tubes, large photoelectric tubes that would see if a proton would decay. Well, I made the water for the detector, and
Okay.
and what happened is that I would take the water from approximately 149, 150 parts per million, and I would have to take it down to approximately 0.1 parts per billion. In other words, 10 to the minus ninth parts for water.
Some of us on this witness history are understanding what you're talking about.
Well, we use reverse osmosis to. I use a large reverse osmosis. It's the same thing as a desalinization concept, which you remove particles, and I had to make the water as pure as possible, and that's primarily what it boiled down to.
All right. Well, I'm trying to figure out how you had time to do all this. I mean, that your work, this is we're just scratching the surface, folks. I'm gonna tell you, we're just scratching the surface.
Well, at the time, moving into Shaker and having the stability of the area, wife and family. I was like the consummate Jamaican, more than one job, I'm tending bar here, playing my horn on the road, and plus working the salt mines.
Yes.
It was I had a pretty nice schedule in the salt mines, which allowed me to to do that.
Okay.
Only thing about the salt mines that I had to figure out later on is that after 10 years of working in the salt mine, I think I lost a year of sunlight.
Wow. We're missing what you're saying. We didn't hear what you said.
My vitamin D.
Oh, I guess in terms of the mines and losing the light.
It was large, so.
Okay. You missed what you said. You missed about a year of sunlight.
Yeah, I missed about a year of sunlight in the 10 years that I worked. Especially in the wintertime. I'd go down. We'd go down before 6:30 or so, and come out about 7:30 or 8.
It'd be dark.
Yeah, in the dark. It was all in the dark. So it was interesting, but my the leader of the collaboration, my boss, Dr. Frederick Reines, he won Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prize.
For the experiment that there was a supernova that came through that passed, and what happened is stripped some of the protons from the water, which gave us the same reaction as a proton decay. And with that, we made history in essence.
Nice. Wow.
In other words, it took a very, very high electron volt energy source passing through the Earth as a neutrino. Neutrinos have a neutral charge, and they pass very, very fast. They're very fast, you know.
No, no.
They're approximately the speed of light, you know, as they pass through Earth, and just so happens that it stripped the proton. It stripped the water of its protons, you know. In other words, broke the water molecule.
Well, I think you know, at the end of the day, chemistry is all around us everywhere.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Everything that we know and see and live has to do with how all of these chemicals come together or whatever.
Yeah.
Let me move on. I'm going to ask you, because, and I mean, this is incorporated in all the different things. You have a business. You told me you have 3 different aspects of your business. And I want you to start off talking about what the name of your business is.
Oh, the name of my business is Nedrad, Dorothy, and Darden.
So if you all wrote this down, Ned, Rad, Dorothy, and Darden. Nedrad, Dorothy, and Darden.
Right.
Okay, I don't think everybody heard that, but Nedrad is your name spelled backward, right?
Oh.
And then tell us about Dorothy. I don't know, did you all hear that? Why Dorothy?
Darden, right. Spelled and pronounced backwards. Right? Well, Dorothy, I don't know, got it. I had some time to think about that. And Darden are my children, you know, the Darden prizes. And it's primarily, right now, is primarily made up of entertainment, me being a musician.
Yes.
Also is property management, in which I do landscaping work. In other words, building things for the home and area, and aquaponics, which I grow fish to grow vegetables. And my product from that, I have a money stream from the fish, I have a money stream from the vegetables that I grow, and I have a money stream from the poop that the fish produce, you know, which is a great food for house plants, you know, leafy green vegetables, leafy green house plants, you know. And I'm in the process of trying to expand my aquaponics. You know, I would like to affiliate myself with a nonprofit and the city of Shaker to put a school in the city of Shaker such that I can teach urban agriculture under the concept of a controlled environmental agriculture. And they're talking about traveling, going to space, and when you're traveling in space, you have to be self-sufficient, produce your own food and everything like that. But those things, controlled environmental agriculture is a good process in which you can grow your own vegetables in an isolated area using artificial light, and the fact that LEDs are so common now.
Yeah.
You know, the light source, the energy is not artificial. It's just made from an artificial source.
You were saying that you grow this in your basement, right?
Yeah, right now my pilot plant is in my basement. I've been operating since 2014. I've gone through 150 fish. I'm into my 200 set of fish now, at 50 at a time. I produce collard greens, lanceolate kale. You know, I tried growing beets. I would like to grow ginger, and all these products I grow is I grow these products because these are
I think we're going to have you say that again.
in my own home
Yeah.
to cook with. You know, I love cooking. You know,
Now, I think you're going to
and
have.
that.
I think we're going to have a class. Yeah, see Lois. Yes, we're going to have a class because I think a lot of people would like to know how to do this. You know, I mean, to be able to grow in your own home, you know, and using light and fish. I don't know, you know, it sounds complicated to me, but it sounds like fun. I mean, it sounds interesting. And I know you're, you know, about sustainability and everything else. I saw some solar panels on the top of an apartment building on Warrensville, and I thought about you. You know, all about sustainability and being, you know, self-sufficient. I don't know, did Ted freeze? Did he freeze? Or I think his internet went off. Is he still here? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you,
You
and
can hear
I
me.
think he
Okay.
is coming back.
Hopefully he'll come back on. So the music was on his, that, you have the music, right?
I have the music, yep.
Okay. So what, you know, in the meantime, I was going to talk more about his. Well, I can share with everybody to mark your calendar for August 7th, because Ted was invited by the Shaker Arts Council to perform at the Van Aken District on August 7th. He didn't tell me what time. It's called Shakers Got Talent. Shakers Got Talent. And so you all can mark your calendars for that day. There's so, okay. And here's some photos. And he shared with us that he wants the middle photo. And in fact, his children are here. So you all can chime in while your dad's pulling the internet back up. The middle photo, he says he's going to have it on the cover of an album, or however it is that do we say albums anymore? I guess, you know, in whatever platform music comes out. And I think he said the left picture was at his granddaughter's celebration. Was there a wedding or when she finished up her doctorate?
But he said wedding.
Wedding, at her wedding. And then, you know, this nice picture of him here with his saxophone. So all the music we've been having in the background is Ted playing, And Theo is with him, so hopefully they can, you know, reboot their internet. And I have a lot more. But
hello.
Yes, there you are.
Aloha.
Hello. I'm glad you're able to come back.
Likewise.
So I just announced your event on August 7th at the Van Aken District. What time will that be? That's called Shakers Got Talent?
Yes, it's called Shaker Got Talent. I believe.
Okay.
I don't have the sign. I don't have the thing in front of me.
Okay. You're a lot clearer.
Yeah, it's August 7th from 4 to 6 at the Van Aken District on Tuttle.
Okay. Mark your calendar, everybody. So does anybody have questions? Comments? There's so much more, believe me. We're just scratching the surface. So you're a musician, aquaponics, sustainability, all of your background, your work is just, you know, amazingly interesting. And some of the things that you said, I had to put in quotes. You talked about how it is people should be able to go from farm to fork.
Right. Well, I was involved with local foods, the local food movement here in Cleveland for a while. And from farm to fork is the most feasible, most sustainable way of doing it. And hence the school that I would like to bring into the Shaker community, the aquaponics school. which would encompass all those areas. Grow our own vegetables. There's a school in Cincinnati called Heights Christian Academy, I believe it's called, and that's what they do. They have an aquaponics concept in the classroom. Part of the STEM organization of the. I'm sorry. Anyway, part of the STEM process: science, technology, electronics, and mechanical. And since I do my aquaponics is based upon my designing, I studied what I could from it, starting with aquaculture and then moving into aquaponics as I was getting into agriculture with water, and growing vegetables with a water base with natural fertilizers, with no pesticides and no antibiotics and anything like that. That's the goal that I'm wanting to set up for the city of Shaker. I have a lot of friends at Ohio State. That's where I did most of my study, at Ohio State University down in Piketon, Ohio. And I first started studying aquaculture in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. I went to school down there, and then subsequently went over to the Kentucky State, where there's anyway. Subsequently, I went to Kentucky State, where the HBCU, which has a very good aquaculture and aquaponics school down there, and with all those friends of mine in Kentucky State, in the state of Kentucky, state of Ohio, Southern Ohio, and Michigan, and other parts, I've been pretty good study of aquaponics, and which, like I said, I would like to bring that type of educational system to the city of Shaker.
You're putting it out there, so we have a lot of people on this call that may come up with some ideas to help that come to fruition. And some folks on the call will probably want to know just more about it.
Well, they can contact me through my phone, I believe.
Yeah.
They can contact you, and you can put them in touch with me.
Absolutely.
That would be a viable way.
I have a question here. I have a question from Mel, Gwen, and Tina. What type of bottled water is best or safer to drink? You would know that. For me, when Cheryl became ill with sepsis, I did a lot of reading as to what I could do to try to assist her in getting better. And I found out that alkaline water, water with a high pH, approximately 9.5 to 10.8 or something like that. If your body is in an alkaline position, it has a tendency to be able to stave off the free radicals that come, as chemicals break down in your body. Everything is not combined. It depends on what process your body is going through and what you're putting into your body and the nutrients. And there are some nutrients that they're just not combined. And these free radicals through your bloodstream could attach, and could cause a cancerous growth. And if it's in an acidic solution or a more neutral solution, you have a tendency to acquire those things. So for me, I found that alkaline water would be the best thing. Are there any on the market that you would say? Is that what you're asking? What are alkaline? Are there any on the market? What kind of water do you think?
Oh, there are plenty of alkaline water. There are plenty of alkaline waters on the market, you know. But you know, I tried. You know, I used to buy alkaline water in plastic bottles and then you know, I realized how much of an idiot I was, because the plastic bottles, you know,
Or where the contaminants are.
were one of the contaminants that, you know, on the broader scale, you know. So I bought a couple of gallon jugs, and now I go up to Whole Foods and buy my alkaline water for 99 cents a gallon, and I can drink it at my will in glass or whatever. But
there you go.
my plastic footprint is gone way down. You know.
We're gonna see you all at Whole Foods. Any questions, or or if your family wants to chime in? I know your daughter is here.
Well, she's here. She's
here. She's here with you in Cleveland.
She's here with me in Cleveland. I saw that she was.
I think she's here.
I think she. Yeah.
Let's see. Is this your daughter, Tam D?
Yeah, Tam D. That's her.
She's online. She's online with us. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Anyone chime in?
What's the salsa band you play with?
Yes.
What is the salsa band you play with?
Oh, the band is called Kawakan. This is Sam. How you doing, Sam?
Hey man, how are you? All right.
All right.
Enjoying
I haven't
this.
got a chance to look around and see you play here lately, but you know, we gonna hook up one of these days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
The Moreland Connection.
Yeah, the salsa band I play with is called Kawakan. Kawakan was an Indian chieftain in the Puerto Rican islands. You know?
Okay.
And we play classical salsa. You know, Sammy De Leon and Rene Trote.
Oh, okay, Sammy. Okay, very good. Yeah, okay, yeah, cool, very excellent. I have to look for you guys. Do you post all your gigs on a website or Facebook? Or?
Well, I don't do it myself, but the Kawakan, they usually post a lot of the information. You know, I should, but you know, I'm just a horn player in the band. You know.
I don't know. You seem like you get around now. You know, you play with 3 different bands, and you know, we hear your music, and you compose music as well.
Oh yeah. I'm writing music now. As a matter of fact, I've got several compositions in the works. One of them is based upon the fact that when I worked in the salt mine, the thing what I was telling you about earlier, when the neutrinos came through Earth and settled into, when they came through Earth and stripped the protons, stripped the water molecules. I happened to listen to, like I said, I like classical music. I was listening to, this mind's a blank. Oh, that's my daughter coming in now. I'm listening to, Romeo and Juliet by Prokofiev, you know. And at the beginning of it, there's a large boom, you know. And the first thing it reminded me of was a supernova explosion, which these neutrinos came from. And then it started with a phrase, dun 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 dun. Anyway, it's a march. But when I heard it as a bossa nova. So I'm writing it and rearranging it as a bossa nova.
Oh, okay.
You know, then march into a bossa nova called Bossa Supernova 87. I already got a title for it.
All right.
And like I said, I was playing with a band called Wilburnows and Thrust back in the 80s. We were a road band traveling around, and 1984, and I'm in the process of hooking up with a couple of people from that era, and writing other music. I'm doing a lot of stuff, you know, the way that people and classical musicians have taken music and turned it to jazz. I'm taking some classical music myself and turning it into a jazz format. You know, I have several ideas in that area. Plus, I've written several pieces, and I'm just, you know, looking for individuals that are willing to want to take the risk and and make those things happen.
Our community is so rich with artists.
I'm sorry?
I said our community is so rich with artists.
Oh yeah.
Artists.
Oh yeah.
Artists. You know, right here online.
Yeah.
You and Sam, you all can do a duet.
Oh yeah. Well, we've already crossed that path.
All right.
Yeah. There are a lot of classical musicians. There are a lot of classical musicians that live in the city of Shaker. As a matter of fact, I happened to go to the Bop Stop several times, you know, in the jam sessions, and I ran into a young guy, saxophone player, just graduated from Shaker this year, as a matter of fact. He's very good saxophone player. I can't think of his name right offhand, but you know, I try to keep my hand into the musical community ever so often to you know, just to keep in touch.
You have a multifaceted life. I'm telling you. Like I said, you know, when I, you know, heard about who you were, people said, "Oh, he's a musician." Okay, so that's one thing you do. Okay, you know, you have many. Sounds very fulfilling things that you do in your life that you could teach. Now, maybe you can't teach everybody how to play a sax, but you can teach us about acapella.
well, I tell you, like I said, I've always shied away from teaching music, you know, because for me, you know, when I graduated from East Tech, you know, like I wanted to go down to LSU, and but that wasn't even an option, you know, because I had to do what I did, you know. And now as I look back on it, you know, just before the pandemic, I was enrolled at Kent State just to try to get myself a better understanding of music, a formal music education. You know,
okay.
My music education came primarily from the streets. You know, working clubs, doing jam sessions. You know, just doing what I could to try and maintain my music. You know, and during the time I was in active addiction, I saw a point where I was losing the gift that I had been given as far as my ability to do my music, you know. And I was fortunate enough to be able to suppress the active addiction, you know, and just in time to help with my wife as she was becoming ill, and to help her in what turned out to be a transitional phase for her, and so now, you know, I'm trying to do what I can to become a fuller, a greater, a better musician, a better person, as far as spending my time being creative and giving help to, you know, to people in my own way. Best way I can find a way to do it.
I want to recognize Sam. Sam, you have.
My mom has a question.
Oh yes, Mrs. Hooper. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Hooper. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I have very pleasant memories of Cheryl, your second wife. Had the opportunity to work with her at More and On the Move in many occasions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just want to congratulate you on your many, many talents. And
Oh.
Sam and I look forward to working with you in the future as far as your music is concerned. But you're very fortunate. You have other aspects of your life that you were ready to get off the ground. So we look forward to those as well. Thank you for your contribution today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, for me, you know, having to have lived 75 years, I'll be 76 in September. You know, when I was young, when you look at a 76-year-old, you would consider them to be old.
Oh,
now that I am at this age, I see that it's actually just the beginning, you know, for me.
You all hear that?
Because you know, I've already learned how to assimilate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And oops,
Better with age.
my battery's running low.
Oh, okay.
I have it plugged in. I'm sorry.
Okay. You gonna run out of battery? Yes, Seal says I agree with them, and I do too. I absolutely agree.
Anyway, like I said, my assimilation has allowed me now to assess to be whom I can and want to learn how to be. So.
Well, I want to, you know, maybe close this with something that you shared with me. You know, it's another contribution that you've made, and that is in the form of your son, Theo. You talked about how proud you are of him.
Oh, yes. You know,
how proud you are of him.
You know, when as a child, as a child, I told him that I haven't had an experience of how to raise a son, because my father died earlier, and so therefore I had no motto. You know, he's been instrumental in guiding me. You know, this is the child teaching the adult. You know, because I'm looking at how he's progressed, and you know, and the trials and tribulations that we have all gone through. You know, and it's just been a godsend. You know, there's no other way I can put this. You know, he's been my inspiration. You know, to continue to achieve and to be better. You know, towards humanity and towards myself. Allow me to believe in myself and believe in have faith, you know.
I think
I'm not that religious of a person, but you know, I still have a way of understanding. He has been my rock.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. And you know, I'm proud that he has chosen a life of service, you know, with the city of Shaker, you know, and I think there's a wide road open for him.
You know? Here. We appreciate him.
I hopefully I can join and assist him in his voyage. It's life again, as I was saying before. You know, the city of Shaker have given me the opportunity to live again and again and again, and I'm very fortunate to have found my niche here in this city. And it's in this community, you know, to some of the things that I'm able to do and able to help this community, you know, move forward into the future. total sustainability.
Yes, I know. Well, let's, John, show us the picture of Ted's house. We're going to share also, because you were saying you have these 3 different arms of your business, and one of them is landscaping.
Right. Yes. This is what I'm doing now is doing landscaping, and the landscaping I'm building borders for flower borders and that type of thing. I did this project here during the pandemic, which gave me an opportunity to stretch my legs, no further than the front yard.
Okay.
But I'm also doing something in the backyard. Also, I haven't taken it. I'm building a permanent gazebo back there. So that I like to entertain. I give parties, yard parties, and I have my band come by and we do programs and stuff like that. And, so I build this gazebo in the backyard with a stage on it, and like I said, I love to cook, so a lot of grilling's gonna be going on, especially starting today.
I think we have a few more pictures of your family.
Okay.
And one of them here is
this is my daughter and her daughter. This is daughter Tamara.
Okay.
And Tiana.
Nice.
And the other one is that's Tamara and my son Theo.
We all know Theo. I think there was one more photo.
My son Theo tells me, "Don't call me Teddy."
And I'm gonna say, "Don't call me Tamara."
Oh, there she is.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
No, that's Tammy. That's Tammy, my daughter.
Oh, okay. Don't call you Tamara.
Don't call me Tamara. And she don't want me to call her what I normally call her. So.
All right.
So Tammy is going to be it. I'm sorry. And that's a picture of myself and Tammy. And the ankh that I have on my shirt, that's the symbol of my daughter's Tamiko's life. That's her life sign, life symbol, And up in the upper right hand corner, that's Theo, Tammy, and myself at the homegoing for my wife. When we had we had an outing in the backyard. Another thing, a lot of food,
And we have one more photo, John. Oh yes, here we have another photo of your. So this is your wife, Constance. Oh, did Ted freeze? Okay, he froze. So I can say this is his wife, Constance, and the picture here we recognize Theo, of course, and Ted, and Theo's mother, Cheryl. So does anybody want to share any thoughts, any comments? In the time that Ted is going to come back with us, hopefully his power is still on. Oh, he's calling me. Hello? Yes, did you lose power? Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, that's all righty. We're going to wrap up. All right, I'll let everybody know. Okay, bye-bye. That's exactly what happened, folks. That's exactly what happened. Well, I know that I enjoyed this conversation this evening. We could have gone on and on and on because there was so much more that Ted and I talked about. Just to have this opportunity to bring his story to everyone here this evening is just such a joy. And I think we're going to be hearing more from him. I know many of us may bring up the whole idea of aquaponics and just to enjoy his wonderful music. It's all the talent, just years and years of talent. So Witness to History, of course, we know, and those of you who don't know, we do Witness to History every month. Second Sunday of the month, as long as it's not conflicting with something else important happening in the world. And so I'm always looking for Moreland residents and neighbors to be our guests on Witness to History. So here I am, Donna Whyte. And so please feel free, please jot down my number. Give me a call and just let me know that you're ready to be a guest on Witness History. Many of you who are here, of course, have already been our guests, and we're just waiting for everybody to sign up. So, so please feel free to email me or to give me a buzz, and you know, you'll be on.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, there
Hello.
you are. Oh, you're on your phone. Good.
Yeah, I'm on my daughter's phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All righty. So we were just talking about other folks signing up to be guests on Witness to History, and I see another Pam sent this note to you, says, thanks so much for sharing Ted's life. We have such a great community. And Vanetta Jameson says, great interview. Yes. Well, I'm glad wow, you're nice and clear. Anybody have comments, questions? Thank you to your daughter for bringing you back with us. And now he's frozen again. Is he frozen or not? Am I frozen or?
You're good now.
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. Well, are there any final thoughts, Ted? This was wonderful. Lois Graham says, thanks, I agreed with everything said. Great interview.
Thank you.
Parting words this evening. We're talking about your wonderful.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. You know, I thank my son Theo for connecting us together, and
yes,
you know, all is well.
Yes. So my whole term is the other side of Lee Road. So if anybody wants to drive by and see your wonderful yard, you know, and the fact that you actually do landscaping, so, you know,
right.
You may be hearing from us. Everybody keep in mind, August 7th, between 4 and 6 o'clock, you can hear Ted Darden live at the Shaker Arts Festival.
Shaker's Got Talent.
Shaker's Got Talent, August 7th.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give you a big thank you for spending time with us this evening, Ted. This was absolutely wonderful. Theodore Darden III.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time and sharing so much about your wonderful life. I want to announce to everybody as well that in August, our guest will be Bobby O'Neill. Many of you will know Bobby, longtime resident of Moreland on Milverton. And so he's going to be our guest in August, but I'm always looking for more Moreland residents to just come and join us on a Sunday evening, enjoy each other's company, and just learn so much about our wonderful life. Sure. Thank you all. What a wonderful evening. We still have time to enjoy a beautiful sunset, I'm sure. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. All righty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.